UK Livestream for us. UK Livestream for us. If it's a day game, we'll be live with a pre-game show. Alright, UK Livestream is best. UK Livestream is best. So come and join us on YouTube. Use the chat to send your comments through. UK Livestream for us. UK Livestream for us, with the lineups and A's news, and maybe with a guest or two. UK Livestream is best. UK Livestream is best. The perfect way to take a rest. They should prescribe it on the NHS. UK Livestream. UK Livestream. UK Livestream. Hello and welcome to the Oakland Days UK Livestream on Sunday the 23rd of February. Hello to everyone, I'm Matt from A's UK and we're doing a little live stream this evening ahead of the 2 A's Spring Training Games. Hello to Jacob, yes you can get a shout out, that's the power we have here on our YouTube channel. Thanks to everyone who's watching, everyone who joins in along the way. You can join in on the chat on the YouTube channel and then it should appear, where is it? That way, should appear that way. Last time I did a live stream, I had a few microphone issues, so I've got a different microphone going and I'm keeping an eye on the levels to make sure it's not cutting out. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the microphone will be working today. But yes, so lots to go on today. Ahead of 2 games, they're starting in about half an hour, the 2 A's games today. So split squad day for the A's in spring training camp. And should be good fun. So today on the live stream, we're going to have a look back at the first spring training game, which was yesterday against the Cubs, previewing today's, and then looking at the schedule for next week too. And we will be previewing the lineups too. So as Jacob notes, Chris is hurt, shouldn't be bad low. So we will be coming to Chris Davis. I'm going to look at the lineups for today and who is in and who is not and what the stories are behind them all. So we're going to start by having a look at the first spring training game of the season for the A's, and that took place yesterday. So the A's started their spring training campaign, their Cactus League action against the Cubs, and it was a bit frustrating from our point of view as A's fans here in the UK because it was originally scheduled to be a day game. So I think it was scheduled to start about 8 p.m. here in the UK, but because of rain around the Arizona area, at lunchtime and early afternoon, they made the wise decision, you have to say, in deciding to act early and put the first pitch time back a bit to the evening or early evening in Arizona. So I think it started about 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning our time. So I'll be honest, didn't follow the game live. And part of the frustration there was that it is one of the few A's games in spring training that are on TV this spring. So one of the few games that are available to watch on MLB TV, so we had to give that a miss. But it was good for the A's to at least get some action in. They got a full game in, and although it didn't go the A's way, they lost, 12-2 against the Cubs, and didn't have some of the regulars out there on the road trip. It was still a good start, good to get things going for the A's at the very least. So let's have a look at what happened in the games. As I mentioned, it was a 12-2 loss to the Cubs. An early reminder that results really don't matter at this time of the season. The main news was AJ Puk. So Puk started. You may have seen my video, my little take on Jumpin' Jack Flash, the Rolling Stones song. I've got a AJ Puk's Flash song for AJ Puk this year. And he pitched the first inning, looked very good. most importantly, used all 4 of his pitches. So when he came back from his injury last year, he was mainly using fastball slider out of the bullpen. And particularly the changeup is a really important pitch for AJ Puck. So really good to see he was using his fastball, his slider, his changeup, and also his curveball too. So if he's got all 4 of those working, then he's going to be causing a lot of problems to hitters. So yeah, struck out Chris Bryant with a lovely slider, and generally looks pretty sharp for a first spring training outing in the Cactus League this year. Looks pretty sharp in his 1 inning. And the starting pitchers will build up the amount of innings they'll pitch as the, I was going to say the month goes on, but we'll be into March soon enough. But as March goes on, the starting pitchers will go up to kind of 2 innings, 3 innings, 4 innings also, just to build up their arm strength as we go along. Lou Trevino didn't have such a good day of it has to be said. Pitched 1 inning, got hit for 3 runs, including a home run by Cubs catcher Wilson Contreras. But by and large, he seemed not to be too fussed by it. Felt that the ball was coming out of his hand pretty well, but didn't think it was too bad, and the results didn't really match the way he pitched. Jacob asks, what is your playoff prediction for us and World Series predictions for all teams? Well, I'm quite confident that the A's will make it to the postseason. It will probably be wild card again, so hopefully we won't have wild card heartache again. But I think I'm not going to predict the A's to win a World Series because that's tempting fate too much, but I certainly think it's hard to look past the Dodgers in the National League, although we could have said that a few times over the years and they've not quite got over that hurdle, but I think Dodgers are a good bet. And I don't know, maybe I'll go for an outsider from the American League. Maybe I'll say the Twins. Maybe they'll go all the way. I think they took a few people by surprise last year, and although they've not made many flashy moves over the off-season, they have improved their team, particularly Josh Johnson coming in, so maybe the Twins might go all the way. Hopefully it's the A's, of course. Back to the Cubs game, it was nice to see Joel Cotton out on the mound, good old squeaky former A's pitcher who's been picked up by the Cubs. Hopefully he'll make the Cubs roster out of spring training, so good to see him out on the mound too. It was on the road, so I mentioned earlier, there weren't too many of our regulars out there in the lineup. Jorge Mateo was at shortstop, Franklin Barreto was at second base, Sheldon Noisy was at third, Seth Brown at first base, Jonah Heim was behind the plate, so people like Matt Chapman, Matt Olson, Marcus Semien weren't in action yesterday, but they are today. So, there we go. That was the first game then. Always good to see the A's back out on the field. And the A's will be getting right back onto it today. So that's a good time, I think, to have a look at today's lineups. Here we go. So the A's are playing 2 games today, split squad day for the A's. The home game at Hohokam Stadium is against the Giants, so that's the one that I'll be listening to more than the other, I think. And those watching on the live stream will be able to see the lineups in front of them. So for the A's, it's pretty much quite a good view of what's often going to be the regular season lineup. So Marcus Semien leading off, Tony Kemp, our new recruit, he's batting second and at second base today. Matt Chapman at third. Matt Olson batting fourth. Mark Canha, who's DHing today. He's batting fifth. Robbie Grossman, who's in left field. Luis Barrera, a good young player. Had his season cut short last season due to injury, but looks a promising prospect. He's in right field today. Dustin Fowler, who we saw a lot of in 2018, is in centre field. Be interesting to see how he goes in spring training and whether he's got a future with the A's. And Austin Allen, the guy we got in the Jerickson Profile trade, he's behind the plate with Mike Fiers, the Fire starter, being there as a starting pitcher. In terms of the other game, so that game is starting at 1:05, whatever time that is. I think that's Oakland time, 1:05. Or it may be 12:05 Oakland time. It's 8:05 UK time. That's all I know. So that's starting soon enough. And then the other game begins 5 minutes later, and it is an away game against the Arizona Diamondbacks. So Liz is in the brilliantly named, where is it now? Salt River Fields at Talking Stick. I love Talking Stick, the place in Arizona. Are you Talking Stick, mate? Are you Talking Stick? It's not something out of East Indies, ain't it? But yes. So we're in Talking Stick, and we're up against the Diamondbacks, who have pretty much quite a few of their regulars in the lineup. Ketel Marte, Cole Calhoun, the former Angel, is out there. Jake Lamb, Carson Kelly, Robbie Ray is on the mound for the Diamondbacks. A very good left-handed pitcher, so that's a tough proposition for the A's. Chris Bassett is starting in this one for the A's. Seabass, who had a really good season for us last year, is getting a start against the Diamondbacks. And then the lineup from there, Jorge Mateo, who was the shortstop yesterday, is designated hitter today, leading off. Ramon Laureano is in centre field. Chad Pinder is in right. Seth Brown at first. Sheldon Noisy at third again. Vimail Machine, the guy we picked up in the Rule 5 draft, is at second base. That big second base battle that's raging over spring training. Sky Bolt is in left. Ryan Goins, a non-roster invite, is at shortstop, and Carlos Perez, a veteran catcher, is behind the plate. Yes. So those are the lineups. A couple of comments from Jacob. I think Kemp will turn heads this year. Very active in the outfield. Yeah, it will be interesting to see how they use Kemp this season. I think particularly with the extra man on the roster, we're up to 26-man roster rather than 25. The versatility he brings in terms of being infield and outfield and a lefty bat, I do think he'll make the roster, and it will be, I don't know, it's going to come down to how people like Franklin Barreto and Jorge Mateo do over this spring training as to whether they're going to make the roster, because both of those guys are out of minor league options, so they're going to have to make the roster, or the A's will be losing them more than likely. So there we go. Yeah, really looking forward to those two games. They're not on TV, but they are both got radio coverage on A's Cast, so we can listen to them here in the UK via the MLB TV subscription or via MLB at the app. So, good fun to listen to some games from Arizona. And talking about A's Cast and all of that, it's time to have a little look at some A's news from the last few days. The main thing that has been, I guess the most impactful thing for A's fans in the Oakland area has been the news that the A's will not have any dedicated radio coverage for the Oakland area in 2020. It's been a long ongoing issue in terms of the radio coverage for A's games. A lot of people not very happy with the coverage out there. Last season, the A's decided to go all in with TuneIn and start the A's Cast service, whereby you could listen to A's radio coverage if you were in the Oakland area via the TuneIn app. And there was also lots of bespoke content throughout the days leading up to games and after games by Chris Townsend, Townie, and a lot of those were available as podcasts, and that was really good to be able to listen to for people like us in the UK, where we don't have access to tune in A's Cast normally, but we could listen to the podcasts. Dave Cavall, A's president, did say that they are looking at making more of the content available live, so as part of MLB TV, so we'll fingers crossed on that. Hopefully that comes to pass. But yes, so if you want to listen to A's radio coverage, you're going to have the TuneIn app, which is free. Apparently, if you're in the Oakland area, you'll be able to listen to it for free in terms of the app. But of course, there could be Wi-Fi, data usage charges, and all of that. So it's not gone down particularly well with fanbase, because it's a genuine question as to there being how well the service will work. There still are lots of people who don't really use streaming a lot, don't have the fanciest phones and all of that sort of thing, particularly older generation. So it is a concern, you would have to say, for a team like the A's. You want to get out there to as many people as possible, and not having radio coverage in a large part of the area. There is some radio coverage across California, different parts of California, but not in the main Oakland area. So it does have the potential to put people off. And I know Vince Cotroneo, after the game yesterday, the spring training game against the Cubs, was asking on Twitter for feedback how easy people found it to find the app, to log into the app, how the service was in terms of whether there was a delay, what was the sound quality like, and all that sort of stuff. So we will see. It's an interesting development. You can look at it in a positive way in terms of the A's being at the forefront of these things, but it does seem a shame for there not to be good radio coverage for the A's too. You would like both of them to be there to cover all bases, so we'll see how that pans out. Looking at some of the newspapers, we have some great coverage, of course, of the A's, and no one better than Susan Slusser. I don't think there's anyone better across all of the major league teams than Susan Slusser, the A's beat writer for the San Francisco Chronicle. Looking at some recent stuff from Susan, the Chronicle on Friday. Susan had a feature with Sean Manaea. It's also available on her A's Plus podcast, so that's well worth a listen. He spoke about dealing with the wildcard loss from last year against the Rays, and also what has changed about his off-season workout routine. So, according to Susan, this is quite, it's focused less on weightlifting in favour of devoting more time to mobility and agility training. So apparently he's going for a gold glove, Sean Manaea, but he looked really good when he came back from injury last season. It's a shame how the wildcard game went, because up to that point, I think it was about 5 starts or so, it looked really good. So hopefully he can get back on track and push that wildcard defeat to one side. In Saturday's San Francisco Chronicle, Susan Slusser was looking at the shortstop prospects in the A's system, most notably Nick Allen and the 2019 first-round draft pick, who was Logan Davidson. Fun thing about that is that it included some quotes from Bobby Crosby. So you'll all remember Bobby Crosby as the 2004 American League Rookie of the Year. Had that great rookie season and never really pushed on from that. So it was kind of seen as a bit of a disappointment in some ways. But he is back in the A's organisation, and this year he will be managing the Class A Stockton Ports. So that will be good to see. It's nice to have those former A's players in and around the team. And coming through the minors. So good for Bobby, and an interesting article, him talking about how good, particularly Nick Allen, is well known around the majors as being one of the best defensive players in the minors already. So he's an exciting prospect. Was slowed down, I think it was an ankle sprain or something like that, which meant he missed part of the season last year, but sounds very promising defensively. And Logan Davidson has already been showing off his first round skill set, so good to see those young players coming through and learning from people like Marcus Semien during spring. Meanwhile, on Sunday, today, in the Mercury News, Shayna Rubin was looking at the spring opener against the Cubs, so quite a bit of coverage on that. She also focused on the battle at second base in terms of the different players who are competing for that roster spot, and also the fact that the A's have got 12 outfielders in camp, and picked up on Dustin Fowler, for example, and he's someone who I think the A's slightly have soured on. Took a real step back, didn't come through in 2018, didn't really do a lot last year. He was okay in Vegas, and a lot of people hit well in Vegas last year just because of the climate, and the rabbit bull, as they like to call it, was jumping all over the place. But does he have a future with the A's? Interesting article from Shayna Rubin there in the Mercury News, so well worth a look if you can get a hold of it. The other little bit of A's news, which is really exciting in some ways, is that on the 14th of April, the A's are going to have an Australian Heritage Night, which is very appropriate considering Liam Hendricks is our closer, and we've had some good Aussies in the past too, not least Grant Balfour being a great one to think about. And if you've been following us on Twitter, which of course you should be, at Oakland AUK, you would have seen our new flag, which is an Aussie Liam Hendricks flag that we will be donating to the right field crew for them to wave around like maniacs, as they do and as we do. So yes, tying in nicely an Australian Heritage Night for the A's this year. So that's the main A's news so far. Everything's just gone off my screen, which is a bit frightening, but there we go. That's clever. I'll have to learn how to do that when I want to do it, I think. But moving on from there, we now need to look around the majors. And the main team we look at around the majors of late, of course, is the Houston Astros. So now it's time for our lovely little feature that we have on our podcast. We're bringing it to the Livestream too. It is the tales of Dusty Bin and the Trash Can Gang. Let's see what's happening in Houston after all those years of cheating. Ooh, the tales of Dusty Bin and the Trash Can Gang. So, yes, Dusty Bin and the Trash Can Gang. If you don't get it, go and listen to the podcast. We're on Spotify, on Apple, on TuneIn. You can find us all over the place. Have a listen to the podcast. We're 2 episodes in to that. So, yeah, the story of Dusty Bin, as explained there. But, I mean, it has to be said that the whole Astros thing has taken a turn for the worse, just in a sense that we know what some idiots are like, and various players have been getting death threats. Mike Fiers has been getting death threats, apparently, but people like Josh Reddick and his family have been getting death threats, which is just ridiculous. This is a game. It's just a sport, much as we care about it. No place for that whatsoever. So, yeah, that's not nice to hear. However, we all know you do the crime, you have to do the time. And we've already seen that in the first spring training game that happened yesterday on Saturday. It was in the Nationals against the Nationals against the Astros. They share a spring training facility, and I think it was the Nationals who were at home, technically. I can't remember. But anyway, every single Astros player got booed, despite the fact that none of the normal regulars were in the lineup. Even Orbit, their mascot, got booed, apparently. And hilariously, 2 fans behind home plate were waving around Astros signs of varying descriptions, and a member of staff came and took them away. So the Astros were stealing signs yet again. Ha ha ha. Anyway, in the Associated Press reports on all of this, Dusty Baker had a good quote. He said, you'll like this. He said, quote, "You'll probably get the same reception most places you go, especially the first go round. So you've just got to put your big boy pants on and then just try to shut it out and just play baseball and realise this too shall pass." So there we go. Get your big boy pants on. So says Dusty Baker. Other than that, I will say there was a nice little interview with Dusty Baker on the MLB.com site. So it was an interview he did with MLB Network. And he came across really well. I know he's former Giant, so in a sense we shouldn't like him. But he does come across as a really genuine guy. And I think he's a good appointment for this season. I'd be surprised if he takes on a lot more than one season. But it is good to see he's out there back. Because I think he was quite harshly treated by the Nationals and being dumped by them. So he's a good fit for them. And the Astros, we know how much talent they've got. They're going to cop a load of grief, but he's exactly the sort of skipper you want to lead the way and to help them through it. So there we go. Let's not count out the Astros just yet. Anyway, we've looked at the lineups for today, but it's that wonderful time of the season when the games have just started and the games are just going to go on and on and on and on, which is exactly how we like it in baseball. So here we go. We're going to have a look at the schedule for the coming week. So, if you're watching on the live stream, you'll be able to see the details below, and as a little video package there showed you. The way I'm going to do it this season, if the fixture is in gold, it's a home game. If it's in grey, it's an away game, a road game. And if it's underlined, that means it's a day game. And For those of you in the States, day games equals evening games in the UK, so we love a good day game. Great thing about spring training is that most of the games, pretty much all of them, are played kind of midday Arizona time or midday Florida time, so they're good times for us to watch or listen to here in the UK. And that's going to be the case for the A's this week. So we've got the 2 split squad games today against the Giants and Diamondbacks, and then heading into the week. On Monday, we are home to Milwaukee. On the Monday, I think it's 8:05. I think they're all at 8:05 apart from Tuesday. So 8:05 UK time on Monday against Milwaukee. Tuesday, we've got the Padres, and that's at 8:10. So 10 minutes past midday Oakland time. Wednesday, it's Arizona again at 8:05 UK time. Thursday is Colorado, 8:05. Friday is Cincinnati at 8:05. And then we get to the weekend. And the weekend's pretty exciting, I have to say, because we've got split squad game on Saturday, split squad game on Sunday. So that's 4 games there for the A's. And 2 of them are special games. So on Saturday, we play Cleveland in both games. Hello there to Fred Nelson. Thanks for joining in. Nice to see you on the chat. So yes, Cleveland on Saturday, we play them split squad in both games. But one of those games is going to be played in Las Vegas. So the Las Vegas Aviators, who are the AAA team for the A's, have a wonderful new ballpark that opened last season. And the A's and Cleveland Indians are playing 2 games there this weekend. And the one on Saturday is going to be broadcast on TV. It's on NBC Sports California. So we'll be able to watch that. If you're in the Oakland area, obviously you can watch it on NBC. If you're here in the UK, we'll be able to watch it on MLB TV. And that game on Saturday, so the one in Arizona is an 8:05 start for the UK fans, so 5 minutes past midday in Oakland. The Vegas one is an hour later, so it's a 9:05 p.m. start on Saturday for us and 1:05 p.m. start for Oakland. So that would be great to see that stadium. It looks a lovely ballpark. So that would be a lot of fun watching the games there. And then they do it again on the Sunday, so again, same time, A's against Cleveland in Las Vegas, and the other half of the A's squad will be playing Kansas City Royals on the Sunday at 8:05 UK time. So there we go. We've had no baseball for ages. We had some baseball on Saturday. We've got 2 A's games today on Sunday. We've got lots of A's games next week. It's what we love. Isn't it great? Lots to look forward to. I'm sure there'll be lots of storylines coming out of them. We mentioned the second base battle, Franklin Barreto, Jorge Mateo, what are they going to do? Starting pitchers starting to build up their innings. It's going to be really exciting. So, fingers crossed more than anything for some good health from the A's, because that's what we need this time of year. Just take it nice and slow, particularly with the pitchers. Don't pick up too many injuries. The couple of injuries that we do have, so in terms of the players, the regular players who haven't featured so far and aren't featuring today, Sean Murphy, coming back from knee surgery, he's going to be the A's regular opening day catcher and the main catcher for the season ahead. He's just being held back a little bit, so it should be, I think they were reporting something like the 2nd of March, 3rd of March will be his likely starting spring training game. So a week on Monday, Sean Murphy should be in the lineup. Chris Davis has got a mild calf strain. He'll be out for a couple of days, but should be in action maybe on Tuesday and Wednesday. Stephen Piscotty is working his way back too. So those 3 guys, Sean Murphy, Chris Davis and Stephen Piscotty, are the ones who haven't featured yet, but shouldn't be too far away. Nothing too serious for any of them. So that's all we've got time for on our live stream today. Currently it's 8:01 here in the UK, so I guess it's just past midday in Oakland. So the games are about to start in 5 minutes or so. So really looking forward to listening to some of that. It's always a treat for me because it's a dark, miserable day. It's actually not been too bad here in Norwich in England, but it has been pretty windy. There was a big shower earlier in the morning. So it's lovely this time of year. Although it's dark and can be cold, you can stick MLB TV on, stick your app on, and listen to some relaxing games of baseball from Arizona, which is what I'm going to do over the next couple of hours. So I hope you enjoy listening to the games too. If you are going to, you can see from the details below, we're all over the social media platforms at Oakland AUK, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and of course on YouTube, where we'll be doing these live streams all the way through spring training and through the regular season, hopefully through the playoffs too, of course. We also have a new podcast, so we've done the first 2 episodes of that so far. Comes out every Monday. Tomorrow's one is going to be an amalgamation of some of the stuff from the live stream, and then also a few extras. So I've just finished, just before doing this live stream, I recorded my Bring Your A's game feature, which is a regular feature on our podcast where we talk about a game from the A's past. And the one I chose for this week's podcast is the first ever game of the Oakland A's, when the A's moved to Oakland in 1968. The first game was on the road against Baltimore. So we've gone through the box score and had a look at that one. So that will drop on Spotify, TuneIn and Apple tomorrow on Monday. So have a look at for that. Subscribe, of course, to the podcast. Subscribe here to the YouTube channel so that you know when we're going live. And yes, enjoy the A's baseball, because baseball is back. And especially on a Sunday, there's just nothing better, is there? I haven't looked at the schedules just yet, but I would imagine that after those dark, dreary, baseball-free months we've just had over winter, today we have 2 A's games on a Sunday, and I doubt there's going to be a Sunday where there isn't an A's game until we get to October. So enjoy the A's baseball, because it's back and it is glorious. We love it so. Thanks everyone for watching live. The people who've been commenting, people like Jacob and Fred have been commenting live on the YouTube chat. Thanks if you've been catching up after the event. If you subscribe to the YouTube channel, then you'll get notified when we go live. The current plan is to do a live stream next Saturday. So Saturday the 29th at about 7:30 UK time, so 11:30 Oakland time. So a half hour ahead of the game. Actually, no, we'll do it an hour later, actually, I think. We'll do it at 8:30 UK time, 12:30 midday, 12:30 Oakland time. So half hour ahead of the Cleveland game in Las Vegas. So yes, we will be tweeting about that in the run-up. But there we go. We are now at 8:05, so the A's games are about to start. So I will wrap up this live stream for now. And yes, enjoy some A's games. Thanks a lot for watching, either live or on demand. Catching up. I'm Matt Smith. Don't forget to follow along on all of our usual social media platforms at Oakland AUK for all of the details. Thanks a lot for watching.